prove to you? You've been a non-believer, let's say.
Well, they still, I mean, this isn't the goal.
No.
The goal is to win it
It's
all.
halfway there.
They're getting there. They proved they're a true team. And they, after every, game, when it's Shea or Chet or whoever's being interviewed on the court, what happens? The whole team essentially comes around. Yeah. And people, Nick just rolled his eyes. People think, oh, that's corny,
my eyes.
whatever.
I didn't roll my eyes.
But they're like, and people have described them as, they're like a college team because they are young and, they got that we're all in this together. Yeah. And I think they proved that over the course of this series. Now, obviously, Shea is the man, and he leads the way. But after Shea, it's like different guys take turns being kind of that star of the quarter or of the day or whatever it might be. And yesterday, look, Alex Caruso, that dude is a tremendous defender. And the adjustment, credit Mark Daigneault, of moving him to guard Jokic was huge. And if you're a big man, you think, well, Jokic has half a foot on him and 100 pounds. Why didn't he just dominate him? A few things happen. One, a lower guy who's strong can get up under you, and that just bothers you a little bit, makes it a little tougher. And then, he was always slapping at the ball, fronting him, slapping at the ball where it is because Jokic, the ball's down lower. And it also, Nick, forced Jokic, and I think this was a mistake by Denver. Not that they would have won the game anyway, but they really were putting Jokic down low thinking, hey, he's got the guard on him, post him up. Usually Jokic is always getting it at the free throw line or the elbow or something like that.
Deal.
Yeah, so that shifted things up for them and threw him off. And then Jalen Williams, we had questioned him on Friday.
Yes.
We said, look, can this dude be a number two? Then he goes out and credit him. He was not having a good series, gets 17 points in the game-turning second quarter, and obviously Shea carried him home. And Daigneault this is what I've been saying, like, they are going through the growing pains that I feel a team must experience to win a championship right before our eyes. That was a tough series win, and credit them.
I don't know if you agree with me. I think this, for their chances of winning the championship, was better than a sweep. Because I do think there's going to they are going where they
had they swept them.
And then when they do face, I think the fact that they faced real adversity, this game it ended up being a laugher. It was 42-41.
And they were down big.
No, they were down early. It was very early. They were down big. But midway through the second quarter, it's a one-point game, and then the barrage happens. And OKC.
Did you ever really feel it was close?
Yes. Yeah. I did because I thought because the way I looked at it was Jamal Murray hasn't gotten going, Joker hadn't gotten going. It's a one-point game, like what Christian Brown kept them attached. I think they got an emotional boost.
They made their run to get back in the game. Denver's got a run.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was clear not. They remind me of the '90s Bulls in this regard, where they can go on a 15-2 run based purely on their defense.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so if the second three-peat Bulls, when you have Pippen and Rodman and Jordan, and the way they could just like swarm you as you pass half court, and it's like you never get a shot up, and they've scored 8 points. The Thunder have been doing that all year long, and to see them do that, Denver was really impressive. I thought the most important part, you alluded to it, was Jalen Williams, that he struggled and then had that moment because they are going to need him. We have talked that Chet one day should be their second best player. He's not. And he's not going to be. He is very consistently good. You know what I mean? Like
rarely,
he hasn't had a 25-point playoff game. Every game this series, he was between 9 and 19, I think. He's going to get you your 9 or 10 rebounds, basically your 10 to 15 points. And that's valuable. But Jalen Williams, after struggling that much, doing what he did was really impressive. And the Caruso thing, I think, is noteworthy because I just want to give credit where it's due. There's one other piece. The other benefit of having the smaller guy guard the bigger guy it's just human nature. The refs let him get away with a little bit.
Yes.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, he can be more physical and foul a little more because the refs are just, it's just how it works. Like, and so where I give Caruso massive credit, and it's why I get so disappointed with basically any NBA player that's not from Eastern Europe that doesn't have a good body, because there's no reason not to. Caruso, go look at him when he was 26 years old, winning a championship with the Lakers. He looks nothing like this version of Alex Caruso. He was good in his role. He has added what I think is 20, maybe 25 pounds of muscle that has changed how they can deploy him and use him, and that has unlocked another thing for him. And that obviously is not new this series. You've seen this in the last few years, but and that was a heady trade by them, trading Josh Giddey. He's the one major
Giddey
addition.
was pretty good.
Giddey was good, and then last point on them, Wilds, is they are ready and Shea is ready. Like Shea, now we have enough of a sample, I feel like, that we can say Shea is still going to get the calls he gets. Shea is still going to produce the way he produces in the postseason as the regular season. He doesn't up it to another level, but he doesn't need to. He's 30 a game each of the last two postseasons on good efficiency and 9 free throw attempts a game. So, yeah, I mean, I think they've been the favorites the whole time, according to Vegas, and I think it's deservedly.
Yeah. Listen. It's pretty straightforward, honestly, with OKC. They needed the experience. They needed to go through the growing pains. They need to know what it's like to be up by 11, down by 10, game 7. Like they need to have it all. This is just how basketball works. The one thing that always drives me crazy is because you could talk about Holmgren, you could talk about Williams. You talk about some of these other players, and Stephen A. Smith said this at halftime, and I didn't really listen to halftime, but I saw that soundbite when I was trying to fast forward through it, and it drives me crazy because it's arguably one of the dumbest things anyone could ever say, and I really mean that. I'm not being extreme here. He said, if Williams could be this play like this all the time, no one can stop OKC, and I've heard that. I hear those comments like pretty much all the time. And it really is actually the dumbest thing to say for anyone to say. Because if insert any player here could do this all the time, then they would be amazing. Then they would be Hall of Famers. They would be all-time greats. They would be legends. If Klay Thompson, another great player who is a Hall of Famer, if he was more consistent, then he would be Steph Curry. And he's not. Okay? Like, that's how that works. Tobias Harris. If Tobias could, he could put up 30-point games. If he could do that all the time, well, then he would be Kobe Bryant. Okay? And he's not. That's not how it works. So you have to understand that when you build these teams and when you're cheering for these teams, you have to understand that these players are not going to be as consistent. Otherwise, an SGA wouldn't be special for this team. LeBron wouldn't be special. Steph wouldn't be special. Giannis wouldn't be special. Jokic wouldn't be special. Like, it's not how it works. If Jamal Murray can put up 30 points all day, every day, game after game after game, well, then he's not Jamal Murray. He's KD. So it's just different. And so you have to understand that. You have to understand when you're watching these games and when you're breaking this stuff down, and when you're just a fan cheering, you have to just bake it in to understand. All right, this is to be expected from these other players. But I mean, OKC's defense. I mean, like, that got me more excited than anything else. Like, watching that defense, watching just the avalanche of it, and it was a 1-point game with 3 minutes to go, not midway through. It was with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. And the way how I'm looking at my notes, the way how they finished, because they never flinched when they were down by 11. Because at one point, they're down by 11, and right, the Nuggets really didn't look that great, but OKC was down by 11, and I'm thinking, because when I'm watching these games, I'm already trying to construct what I'm going to say. I'm taking notes, and I'm thinking to myself, am I going to have to make an OKC video saying they got blown out, in at home on Game 7? Am I going to be making a Nuggets video being like, man, they just absolutely rocked OKC. OKC looked scared. They didn't know what was going on. They were not prepared to play. Like, is that the video that I'm going to be making? Like that Jokic just put up 40 and just blew out OKC game 7 on the road. And it would be like, and the bottom line here would say, is this one of the most impressive wins of Jokic's career or something? Like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh man, like, is that what's about to happen? And then like, it just didn't. I mean, like, seriously, it was just like a blink of the eye. It was like something just clicked. Because at one point when they were down by 11, they show OKC's bench. And I took a mental note. I was like, they don't look good. The bench looked like kind of like shell shock. Not the players on the court, but the bench, the way the guys who they showed. And like that made me uncomfortable. I was like, oh, this doesn't look good. But the players on the court, they never flinched. They never wavered. And it's because they're not an emotional team, which I love, quite frankly. I love that about them. They don't ride the waves of emotions. But it's so great to see someone like a Caruso get his flowers. Because I actually made a Denver Nuggets video and I was just like, the Nuggets are missing a Caruso. You always need a Draymond Green, a Drew Holiday, a Caruso. Like you need that player who can be a dog, who can do all the little things that amount to massive things, to true winning basketball. That it's not always easy to see throughout a game, throughout a series, throughout a career. But it is just so brutally important to have. And that's why it was smart. Yeah, Giddey, this, that, but like you need someone who also just has high IQ, incredibly experienced, who clearly understands their role, who when they are having a bad game, a bad series, it actually does not change how they play in the next moment, right? It's just maturity and experience to just as high as you can go. And that is what a Caruso brings to this team, and that is what this team needs. I mean, if you watch that post-game, you heard what SGA said about him. I mean, he could not praise him enough. And someone like a Caruso is just all about the business, all about the game. And that is, over these last, 10 years or so, it's been Holiday and Draymond who've been really, carrying that torch. And you can have other players that kind of give you the sense that they are like that. Like a Dylan Brooks and like a Russell Westbrook, but they don't have the maturity. They don't have the high IQ. They don't have the emotional balance. And that matters. And again, I'm not going to pretend like Draymond Green necessarily has that emotional balance, but in game, he knows how to harness it. Like that's the difference. And it's obviously led, to many, many wins. But I mean, how they closed out the first half was unbelievable. And then how they started, how they then continued that into the third quarter. There was a point when there was no chance. Like what Wild is saying, it's like, did you not watch the whole game? Because there was a moment when you were just like, oh my gosh, are the Thunder about to blow this? Like, is that what's about to happen? And again, I'm in my mind, I'm like, what two videos am I about to make about the Thunder and about the Nuggets? What am I about to say? What are my takeaways so far of this game? And it was, if you're a Thunder fan, like it was unsettling at first. It really was. You could say, oh, I never doubted, but like, it was uncomfortable. You're like, oh man, 11 can turn to 20 very quickly. But then it ended up being completely flipped upside down. It was like a 25-point swing. And that the difference was that the Nuggets, especially the players on the court, were genuinely shell-shocked. They were genuinely like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And then they're looking to the refs, right? Jokic is constantly now looking to the refs to be bailed out. And it's like, bro, this is game 7. You think you're gonna get bailed out by the refs? And that was also the thing. At the beginning of the game, the Nuggets were getting a lot of free throws. They were getting a lot of calls, and that kind of messed up the momentum. Then when the refs started to like let them play more, the balance fell significantly in favor of the Thunder. But I'm happy for the Thunder. I'll be honest, and this is gonna be unpopular with some people, but it is what it is. I don't root really for any team. Like I really try to come here with like as much unbiased as I possibly can, and I think about what's also really entertaining. Like a part of me thinks like the most entertaining finals, and Thunder are not going to want to hear this, but I'll earn you back in a second. Would be the Timberwolves versus the Knicks, because you got Cat, you got Ant, you got DiVincenzo, like you have Julius Randle. You have a lot of overlap there that would just be really fun, interesting, entertaining. So just from an outside looking in. But if I had to pick any team who I truly want to see win, it would be OKC. because I just love everything that they represent. I love the type of superstar that SGA is. I do love how they're always all together. They put their arms around each other. Like, it's just those are the people that I want to see succeed. Those are the people that I want to see become the face and represent the NBA, just celebrity athletes as a whole. It's just good. It's just good people having good things happen to them. And so, like, the personal side of me is like, I want to see Thunder win. The NBA fan of me is like, man, Timberwolves versus Knicks, like, that would be box office. There's going to be a lot of bad blood, intensity. Like, it would be crazy. But yeah, I don't know. It's just the Thunder, man. I just love everything that they're doing, and they're just doing it right. But I do think in this series against the Timberwolves, and if they play especially the Knicks, maybe a little bit less so than the Pacers, they do have to find their inner dog, because this team is a nice team. They're nice people. You just see it, right? Their engine. It's so funny in spiritual traditions, whether it's Christianity, Buddhist, Jewish, Hindu, Muslim, whatever. Like, you'll have all these common teachings where it's like, oh, like, your engine can't be run by hate. It has to be run by love, and you see all those teachings, like, again, in every religion and spiritual tradition under the sun. And it's funny, this is going to sound cheesy, but, like, I look at the Thunder and I'm like, oh, see, they're run by love, they're run by connection and, have each other's back. And I see, like, the Knicks, I see the Timberwolves, like, they're rooted by a different level of energy, a different level of intensity. And I'm like, the Thunder need to find a little bit of that. They need to get a little chippy. They need to get a little physical. They need to get a little angry, because I do think that is what will be needed to win against, say, the Timberwolves or the Knicks. And it's not because they don't have the talent, because I think OKC is the most talented team by far. But there's just a level of intensity that the playoffs bring that I want to see it. And I feel as though that the Thunder did that in Game 7, right? They really went after Jokic and everyone else, that I saw an intensity just really kind of get jacked up. And I'm excited to see how this continues to unfold for them. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about OKC? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.